What's up, guys? There's always something going on with you. There we go. What's up, y'all? It's Dominique, aka That Therapist. I'm the lead clinician and CEO for a group practice known as Yellow Bird Counseling. For those of you that don't know us or what we do, we provide individual, couples, family, group therapies in the states of Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Florida. So if you live in those states and you're in need of any of those services, definitely give us a call. Definitely give us a call. But what does that mean for us tonight here on social media? Well, another thing that Yellow Bird does, our mission is to break the stigma that surrounds mental health, mental wellness, mental illness, and the like. So, in our effort to do that, we present topics every Thursday evening that the general public can relate to and tie it back to how we could all benefit from having a therapist. So, with school starting, we wanted to really focus on parents and children this month and making sure that we hit those topics at the beginning of the school year so that everybody can be successful. Last week, we had Shekinah, one of our Yellowbird therapist ambassadors for the Yellowbird Nation, come on and talk to us about how parents could implement self-care with this school year starting and how you can start off strong and on the right foot. So definitely, if you missed that, please go back to the videos up above and watch that. That will be on Facebook. If you go to our Yellowbird Counseling page, you'll see it on Facebook. If you're on Instagram, you can just look in our video archives. If you are on YouTube, then it's definitely there on our channel. So you can access that from last week. But she provided some helpful tips and tricks and things to be aware of when keeping your self-care intact as a parent and how you could pass that on to your children so that they have great self-care for the school year, and how parents and children alike can be successful in their school year with a great self-care regimen. So that's what we did last week. This week, I really wanted to focus on things to look for in our kids, because I noticed I want y'all to see my shirt. That's what I'm trying to do. I want y'all to see it, okay? Because it's like right here. So, but with school starting, that's when we start to get a lot of onslaught of parents calling about, oh my gosh, my kid's going through this. This is happening with my kid. Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you fix my kid? Can you make my kid be good? Is my kid going? Like, it's all about that. And a lot of times, there's a bad perspective about children and their mental health and really just taking their resilience for granted. First of all, guys, we're not going to use the word bad. Our kids are not bad. If they have behaviors that are difficult to deal with, there is definitely something going on that we need to look into further. Instead of just simply yelling at them, grounding them, taking their iPad, and taking their TV time and taking their phone and all that, while there is a place for negative reinforcement, that may not be what your child needs in order to really be successful and overcome whatever problematic behaviors they are experiencing. So let's talk through it. We're going to just talk specifically and generally about children and teens who are expressing depression and anxiety. Now, because they are in such vulnerable developmental stages in life, their emotions and their words sometimes just don't match. All right. And because a parent is looking at children as if they're supposed to be fully developed, smaller adult humans, that's just not how it is. Children are not processing information, putting out information the same as a fully developed adult brain, which is approximately around the age of 25, when we can say, okay, you're good to go, your brain is fully developed. But before age 25, there is a lot of development still happening. And so something may present one way when it really means something else. So, for instance, depression. With an adult, you might expect for depression to show up with withdrawing, with losing interest or pleasure in doing things, maybe having a lack of appetite, maybe wanting to be in the bed all the time. Well, with children, especially children under the age of 12, depression doesn't show up like that. Depression shows up as anger and defiance and struggling in school, conflict with family and peers. Like, it shows up like that. And I have a lot of parents calling me, talking about, my baby got anger issues. Well, really, your baby could be dealing with depression. And you could possibly be contributing to it, especially if you're resulting to corporal punishment. For those of you that have ever felt immense sadness, I just want you to think about it. Think about any time, not saying that you've ever dealt with depression, but let's just go, everybody has at least been sad before. So think of a time where you maybe lost a loved one, or you lost your job, or you lost a relationship, or you lost some money, or just feeling you may have experienced depression. Imagine how you felt, and then imagine if someone came and decided they wanted to whoop you, beat you, spank you, whatever you want to say, in order to snap you out of it. Like, how does that feel? Or if you're experiencing that sadness and the resolve for that is your husband or wife taking your iPad, taking your phone, telling you can't watch TV. Like, I had to make the examples extreme like that to really put it into perspective for you all. Because again, we take the resilience of our children and teens for granted, and could possibly be exacerbating their symptoms when there is definitely another way to go about that. And here at Yellowbird, we do work with children and teens. We have therapists designated that enjoy working with our children and teens that we do send them to, and they're very great. We have Ms. Shekinah Lee, who you all met last week. She has a history of being in education with teaching in elementary and high school, and school counseling in elementary school. And so she's got plenty of experience to be telling us and working with us on our children. And we also have Miss Monique Louise, who works with our adolescents, teens, and young adults. So we have therapists designated for those populations because with that population, again, they're in a very developmentally vulnerable position. And because of that, we want to be sure that we are attending to their needs in the best way possible. So I wanted to talk to you all, whether you be a teacher or whether you be a parent, I wanted to talk to you all about things to look for instead of just automatically going to he, she is bad, because we're not using that. They're not bad. If a child is acting out, something is going on. We can agree that. If they are acting out, something is going on. So we need to know, okay, what do we do if something is going on with our children? How do we tackle that? Now, many of you already probably have your children come to Yellowbird or some other great counseling agency, and that is great. But for those of you that don't, or for those of you that have friends and family that have children that could benefit from this information, the parents of those children could benefit from this information, please share this live on your timelines, share this live in your groups that you're in. You don't got to point nobody out specifically, because folks be getting weird when their children have an issue like their child not supposed to have an issue like their child not a human. That ain't fair. You know, kids have issues probably even more so sometimes than us adults, because again, on top of the fact that they have very limited freedoms due to them being minors a lot of the time, and the fact that they have to go to school and have limited freedoms there, and the fact that they have to deal with other children and their developmental bumps in the road and how that relates to them and their parents and whatever the parents could be going through, and the parents, unloading on the kid, or the kids getting the brunt of the parents' frustrations with job or relationship or family. Kids is enduring a lot. Teens are enduring a lot, and kids oftentimes are carrying the weight of the world on their shoulder, and their parents don't even know it. So I want to bring your awareness to that, so that your son, your daughter, your non-binary child can grow up and have a well-adjusted adulthood and not have to come to me at 25, 35, 45 years old to work on things that happened when they were 15, 16, 12, 10, 9. Okay? So open your ears and put your sharing on. If you could share again on your timelines and in your groups, so that a parent, friend, or family member can gain support in this area sooner rather than later. Please and thank you. So with that being said, let's get to it. So we're just going to talk about general signs and symptoms that there could be an emotional or mental health concern that needs to be addressed. And with the fact that kids are resilient, the sooner they start therapy, the better. So get over your pride of, oh, that means something's wrong with my kid. And if that means something's wrong with my kid, that means something's wrong with me. The world is not over. I promise you. We're all humans. We can agree on that, right? None of us are perfect. All of us have issues to varying extents and to varying circumstances. And sometimes all of those circumstances and situations that we experience can be overwhelming, which causes us to go into survival mode. Mr. Carter, do you want to go outside? Huh? Hold on, guys, real quick. Y'all know how Mr. Carter be doing. He be Mr. Cartering. Come on, Mr. Carter. Go on, buddy. He be Mr. Cartering right in the middle of me trying to work. So that's how he be. But anywho, see, I was attentive. I'm like, okay, he acting like he got to go outside. He's being real antsy. So you got to pay attention. I know that he's a dog, but on a smaller scale, that is essentially what we are talking about. So we have causes that you want to be aware of. Of course, if there is any substance use, a lot of times, and even younger than normal, kids and teens are experimenting with substances, whether that be alcohol, whether that be drugs, or some sort of medication they're experiencing with or experimenting with, whether that is due to peer pressure or whether that is just due to self-medication that maybe they saw on YouTube or Euphoria, So, and I love Euphoria. It ain't even, but I think, shows like that definitely should be watched with a parent, so the parent can talk through those situations with the kid and be open to talking through those situations with the kids, so that we don't have kids just trying to process these big problems on their own with their brain that isn't fully developed yet. All right. So substance use can be a thing. And I will always say, if you're, after we finish this, if your child is experiencing any of these signs and symptoms, the best thing to do is first start with the primary care, just to rule out any organic issues like magnesium, like if they have a magnesium deficiency or a vitamin D deficiency, or, if they're dealing with low blood sugar for whatever reason, you want to rule out all those organic causes that could come out behaviorally and cause irritation or lack of concentration. We want to rule all that out first. If you go to the doctor, they do their blood tests and all that, and they say, nothing organically, nothing medically wrong, maybe time to go on to therapy, then definitely you can text the word new to the number that I will give you shortly, and we can get your child set up. Or you can tell your friend or your family member to text the word new to the number that I will give you shortly, and we will get them set up. All right. So definitely first stop is you want to go to your primary care physician and rule out any organic causes that could be affecting your child, because again, they're growing individuals, they're developing, and so a lot of things could be at play. All right. Environmental family issues. I think sometimes parents don't really realize that whatever you're going through, your child is also going through. The things that you think your child doesn't know is going on, more often than not, they do know what's going on, because kids, one, are very inquisitive and a lot smarter than what we give them credit for. And they're also a thermostat. All right. Kids can read the temperature. That's what they can do. And they are able to do that starting off very, very young. So kids are very observant. Kids are like sponges. They're taking in information. They're taking in emotional energies of the people around them, whether that be their parents, their brother, their sister, their peers at school, their teachers. They're taking all that in and they're internalizing it, and then left to figure out how to process that all. So if you are going through a divorce, if you are going through something with your significant other, if you have financial difficulties, don't just automatically assume that your child is unaffected by that just because you feel like you have shielded them from that, because maybe they have heard more, seen more than what you think they have, and they need a place to be able to process that. And a lot of times, your kid still sees you in a positive light, and because they see you in a positive light, they're going to sometimes be less likely to tell you what's going on, because they don't want to further stress you out. You don't know, y'all would be surprised at how many adults and kids that say, yeah, I have a great relationship with my parents, but I knew they were going through things, and so I didn't want to bother them. I felt like I would just be a bother to them. So they would have benefited from having a therapist to go talk to, because they didn't want to bother their adults that they really care about. Okay. So that is a thing. That doesn't mean that you're a bad parent or they're a bad kid. It just means they're trying to be considerate of the adults in their life that they care about. So they definitely could benefit from therapy for that purpose. Family history. Now, you might have to really think, is there somebody on either side of the child's family, whether that be from the mother or the father or the sperm donor or the egg donor, did they have any type of mental illness that ran in their side of the family? Even if that's anxiety, even if that is, well, really anxiety, because that's the most common one that people are like, when they think about it, they're like, I think my grandmother, auntie, uncle could have been dealing with anxiety or substance abuse. Did they deal with, anybody in the family deal with that? Because a lot of things can be genetic and or hereditary. So definitely we want to look into that. If there's a family history, is there some sort of physical illness? I've worked with kids that have had type 1 diabetes, and because of that, that has caused them to be really irritable. That has caused them to even deal with depression, just because of all the medical measures that they had to go through to keep themselves healthy and safe. That was a lot for them. And so going to therapy just to cope with their physical illnesses that they had going on was very beneficial. Stressful life events. Has your kid had to move or go from middle school to high school or elementary school to middle school? That's stressful. Or is there a new baby in the house? Or are parents splitting up? Or is there a financial strain going on? Like, what kinds of life events could be going? Are they being bullied at school? Did they lose a friend? Is there a teacher that's not being the most positive? There are definitely key questions that I ask my children clients when working with them to make sure, because kids don't always know how to articulate. You say, how was your day? And they say, fine. That's all they know to say. You got to ask more specific questions to help them answer and help them identify what they could possibly be feeling, because a lot of times if kids are going through this, they're definitely on autopilot and they're just trying to make it, and they're not really processing what it is that they're feeling, and they may not have the executive functioning to even be able to do that as of yet. So be aware of any kind of stressful life events that could be stressful to them. Just because it's not stressful to you does not mean that it's not stressful to them. So let's be aware of that. Let's not assume that, they be on that phone too late. That's their problem. And it might be. But let's not just assume that that's the only thing. If they're on the phone so late, why? Like, who are they talking to? What kind of support do they feel like they're getting from being on the phone and lacking sleep in order to do that? And it could just be they love their phone and they're happy as a lark and they're losing sleep and so they're cranky. But let's take them to a therapist or a primary care physician first to rule those things out. And even if it is just that, then the therapist can definitely help the child and the teen and parent come to a common ground on how to have healthy phone usage or healthy video game usage, which we did a live on video game usage. And some of your kids, that I won't even say of higher intellect, but it is of intellectual exercise. Video gaming is. It is a actual factual intellectual exercise that teaches them critical thinking and problem solving skills and different social skills that they will need for the world in general anyway. But of course, just like everything, it needs to be done in moderation. And so instead of just saying have it or don't, there's a lot of middle ground in between there, between overindulgence and taking away completely. All right. And your therapist or your child's therapist can help you figure out what is that common ground. Behavioral problems at school. Okay. Behavioral problems at school. Even if that's just them talking a lot or being the class clown, what is the motivating factor for that? What is the motivating factor for their talkativeness? What is the motivating factor for them trying to be the class clown or being defiant with the teachers if that's happening? It's not just that they bad, period, and dot. That ain't that. They could be dealing with a lot of issues that parents and teachers could be unaware of, okay? So those are some causes. Changes in eating and sleeping, that's a sign that you want to be aware of. Are they eating more? Are they eating less? All right. Are they sleeping more? Are they sleeping less? Something that you want to be aware of. Feeling sad or hopeless. Even statements of hopelessness, like I'll never be able to, or I'll always, or I never, or those type of statements. Those are definitely things that you want to be on the lookout for. Low energy. And this be tripping y'all parents up a lot because y'all be like, they just lazy. They don't want to do their work, or they don't want to do their chores. No, the kids that I have worked with that have been depressed have been severely depressed. And then they have parents that, which I understand, do not want them to be on psychotropic medications such as antidepressants. Understood. But then on top of, but let me rewind because it was a lot coming at once. On top of experiencing the depression that they experience, a symptom of that is tiredness and lethargy. You remember earlier how I said you just feel like you want to lay in the bed all day? Have you ever felt sad to the point of wanting to lay in the bed all day? Yes, that is an overlapping symptom that children also experience. So it ain't always that they just lazy and they don't want to do nothing. Okay, it could be symptoms of depression that have gone untreated. So let's get them into therapy. Let's let the therapist help the child and help the parent understand how to build motivation and build energy level. Like, what can we do? There's lots of things that we can do. I've worked with lots of kids that have dealt with depression, and we have been able to successfully treat them without psychotropic medication. That is a thing. So if their energy is low, all they want to do is sleep. They get home from school and go right to sleep and stay asleep, and then they have trouble getting up. They falling asleep in school. Any of that just excessive sleepiness or lethargy. Let's get them to the doctor, get them checked out, make sure it's nothing medical. If not, then let's get them to a therapist. Let's get them to a therapist to try to help eliminate or lessen that issue of low energy. Sudden changes in mood or irritability. And then you throw in puberty, and that is a whole new situation. I tell parents, whether your child is experiencing anything or not, or you don't think they are, that adolescent age, that preteen age, that tween age, that's a rough time. That is a very high intensity time for kids. So definitely they need to be in therapy just to be sure they good from that. It really, I say age 10 to 15, that chunk of time for children and teens can get real strange. You throw 13 in there, they're right smack dab in the middle of that thing at 13. So you really want to make sure that they're getting what they need. And again, you want to take them to the doctor, make sure there's no organic concerns going on. If not, then let's get them to a therapist. Let's get them in to talk to somebody, help them with behavior modification, help them with structure, help the parent understand how to respond, to the child. Maybe the parent has some undiagnosed mental illness or just even stress, okay? Even stress that they could be projecting onto the child unknowingly. And so then the therapist can help the parent navigate that and get the parent the help they need so that the child can get the help that they need. All right? Because when I first started out, parents was like, this was a line I love. Oh, I know I probably need it, but I need to get my baby straight first. That ain't how that works. That is not how that works. If you're not good, they not going to be good. In the 1 hour that they come see me once a week or even 1 hour twice a week is not going to make up for the 12 hours they're with you, dealing with you being stressed out and thinking that you're hiding it when you're not. Okay. So if you want them to be good, you also have to commit to being good. All right. And if that means that you have to go to therapy, then that's what that means. And we have plenty of people that their parents go to one therapist, the kids go to another therapist, and then the mom and the dad or the mom and the mom go to another therapist. And then they work with Kayla for the family therapy. We got that. We got families that come see us, and everybody's getting what they need, and they all have their own therapists. And so everybody can talk comfortably and have their own safe space. So definitely, if you're experiencing stress and frustration, don't automatically assume that you're not projecting that on your kid just because that's not your intention to do so. That does not mean that they're not experiencing that. So those are some things to watch out for. Let me look. Y'all is live in these comments. Let me see what's going on. And please share while I'm going through these comments before I go on the next point. But y'all is live in here, so let me see. Hey, I'm just saying hello, but please share. Oh, well, we're happy to hear that. Ray said, y'all been a wonderful help for my daughter. I am so happy to hear that. Thank you, Chelsea, for sharing. I'm glad you think that it's needed. I am leaving him alone. He outside being himself, and he, obviously is having a good time. This is really informative. I'm glad y'all think so. So very helpful. And look at my forehead. I got my forehead all out. Can you hit on military kids, possibly stressors from them besides moving, how to make it easier on them? That, you know what? Yes. That is definitely a whole nother topic. I think that needs to be its own live. I don't think I could do it justice to kind of hit through it real quick, but that is definitely a topic. So thank you for that. I'll get with maybe Tiffany. Tiffany is our military service therapist. She's actually in the military service person herself, and she's a therapist with us. So definitely, let me talk to her about that when I have her supervision this weekend and see if she maybe can collabo on that with me. But yes, that's a good one. That was me as a teen, stressed and tired. Yes, I remember. I was like, how is my brain even functioning? Okay. It was a rough time. And I remember when I was in 12th grade, I was on so many different medications. It was crazy. And I'm like training myself how to be half asleep and still listen in damn calculus. Like, no. Okay. No. Like crazy. Would you talk about the benefits of healthy, balanced eating plans and exercise for their mental function? Yes, I definitely can. I can kind of touch on that real briefly. Some natural things that we look at before we automatically jump to, you need medication, because we don't automatically jump to that, especially for our kids with their developing brains. A lot of your serotonin is housed in the gut. So there are different foods that you can intake that contribute to serotonin, up in the release of serotonin in your gut. A couple of those things would be fish and green vegetables, which may be some things that kids have a hard time eating. So, we look at smoothies and other things like that. But real briefly, that's very important to eat foods that promote the serotonin release in your gut. All right. And then exercise, just releasing those endorphins that help elevate mood. And that may even be something as simple as a daily walk. And then, of course, while the sun is out, and I got to prepare for sad season, because sad season is going to start hitting us around November, and I make sure my staff and y'all are ready for sad season. But sad season is literally like a dark blanket that drops down on folks in November and lifts off of them all of a sudden in March. Seasonal affective disorder. We did a live on that last year, and I'll probably do it again this year because I feel like a lot of people were able to get through sad season easier because we were able to prepare our clients and our staff for the onset of sad season, which comes around first week in November. So that's my birthday. So yes, thank you for that question. Oh no. Okay. They may be more receptive to talk to someone. Yeah. And someone that has no skin in the game, because kids really care a lot about their parents. Even when their parents be doing them wrong. And I worked in foster care for 6 years, and these kids loved their abusive parents who had them in a trap house. Okay, they loved them. So kids are going to try to protect their parent at all costs. So, but that does not give us the right to take advantage of their resilience and just be like, oh, a kid should stay in a kid's place, or a kid they're human beings too. All right. They are human beings too. And just to throw disregard on what they're feeling by saying, oh, they're just a child and they're not an adult and then they don't know nothing about adult issues and blah. That's no. Because what's going to happen is they're going to grow up. They're going to be 25, 35, 45, 55, trying to resolve trauma that they experienced in their house when they was 15, 12, 14, 13, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. All right. So let's not do that. And let's actually validate what our children are feeling and give them a space to be heard, and whether that's in the home or in the home and in a therapy office. Okay. So, a child baby boy is to talk to a total stranger like a therapist and come out and to their parents about their issues. Exactly. Hey, you're making great points. Definitely helping to reduce the stigma. Thank you. You have to keep them kids involved and maintain connections connections as possible. Okay. Let's see. All right. Yes, I was going to say foster care experience as a social worker. Very true. Yes. Absolutely. So y'all know, listen, even just especially more specifically, I'll say in the African American community, but not just us, but that's who I'm more aware of because that's who I am. Okay. So y'all, like the way we talk, just even the way we talk to each other, way we talk to our kids, it'd be rough. And I know that comes from the 400 years of slavery and dehumanization that we endured as a people, and it got passed down. We started practicing that stuff in our house. We started practicing that stuff in our community and social gatherings, but it's not okay. And it is perpetuating a very serious mental health crisis in a community that there is already mental health deficit. So it's just like you stacking more odds against us. And then you throw, again, underdeveloped, or not underdeveloped, but not finished developed human into the mix. That's a lot to expect for a kid to endure. All right. So yeah. Cool. I'm glad y'all are enjoying this. My kids I'm retired now. Okay, cool. Great. All right, let's keep it going. Please share this. Please share. Again, please share, because there is a parent on your timeline who needs to hear this, okay? So let's talk about anxiety in our children. So some things, and these issues are anxieties that I have myself heard several parents disregard. And so early on in my practice, I had to decide, because at first my population of interest and passion was at-risk youth. Okay, so foster care, I was drawn to that. I worked as a staff therapist in foster care for 4 months. Then I was promoted to clinical team lead. And then a year after that, I was promoted to clinical supervisor. And 3 years after that, I was promoted to clinical coordinator, which was over the Southeast region of the foster care agency that I worked for. So I would go to different regions and help those supervisors and staff and kids and family. So I'm pretty well versed in working with therapeutic children and special needs children. That was my first real foundation. So I have talked to a lot of parents, and I had to decide, am I going to be an advocate for these parents or for these kids and confront their parents, okay? And be like, actually, Mr. Miss So-and-so. And I had to learn how to be savvy with that, because again, folks do not like receiving feedback about what they do in their house. But if you got a mentally or emotionally impaired child, as an advocate, it's just a space that I had to learn how to get comfortable in. So now I can just do it like a breeze. I can be like, now mom, now dad, now let's talk about this. Like, would you think that that's fair? And then what happens oftentimes when I ask that, well, when I was a kid, and that's the problem. When you were a kid, that abusive or traumatic behavior was accepted, and so you think it's normal when it's not. So maybe we need to get you back in therapy to resolve that, so you are able to parent your child from a mentally healthy and an emotionally healthy space. Okay. But so the anxieties that you may want to be aware of are kids being anxious about their future. Okay, that's a big thing, and very common anxiety is for kids to be anxious about their future. Fear of being away from their parents. You might see this more in your younger kids, like if they cry excessively or constantly when you drop them off at daycare or something. You want to look into that. But fear of being away from their parents. Panic, such as sweating, or having panic attacks, which could look like, labored breathing, could look like sweating, could look like, it could look like bedwetting, it could look like food hoarding, it could look like not wanting to engage in personal activities of daily living, such as hygiene needs. It could be that. Refusing to go to school or engage in social gatherings, like refusing to be involved in anything. I do have a client who is pretty well adjusted, is just the introvert, but we still do try to get that child involved in things, because while it's okay to be introverted and get your energy from being by yourself, we don't want you to be isolated. So what are at least 1 to 2 activities we can get the child involved in? Let's see. Worrying about somebody dying. That is a common anxiety that I have worked with a lot of my child clients with, a fear of somebody dying. And kids really worry about that. Children and teens can really get preoccupied with those thoughts. So those are just some themes of anxiety that you might be looking for. Yep, everyone does need therapy, especially Black folks. Yep. we got a lot of compounding issues that we need to definitely be sure that we attend to as a community. I really would not know what to see a therapist about. I feel well adjusted. Okay. Well, and you may be. You may be. With that, I would just say maybe even have a session with a therapist just to see. Even in a first session with a therapist, you'll know pretty easily because we do an in-depth history. So like all of my initial sessions look like we do an emotional and a situational timeline from as far back in childhood as you can remember to present. That helps me to understand how you learn how to communicate, if there's any unresolved issues that we need to attend to, or if there's any triggers that I need to be aware of. I can tell you most of the clients with, as long as I've been doing this, I have been in the field for over 10 years now. So I'm at mastery level and expert level. And I can, within the first session, I'm like, oh yeah, here's the traumas that we're dealing with. Here's the emotional, and you may not have anything. I literally just met with a client last week. We went through all of that. Everything was pretty well adjusted. They did have normal human bumps in the road, you know what I'm saying? But most of what they're going to be needing is counseling, not therapy. So counseling is like life coaching that your insurance can pay for. Okay, that's how I sum that up. But therapy is for like mental health issues or emotional disorder issues and things like that. But counseling is more so, okay, here's where I'm at in my life. How do I move forward? What are some goals I can set? How can I structure my life better? That's kind of, so, that's more of what counseling is for. So you may not need therapy, but check in and just see if you need counseling. And if you don't, then you're good. You're great. But it always is beneficial to have a therapist on hand because life be lifing and people be peopling, and we are all still human, and none of us are exempt from dealing with human issues. All right. So be aware of that. For your teens, you want to look for, are they having excessive sadness or sad spells for seemingly no reason, or I say seemingly an unidentified trigger? So kids just seeming to be down and, there's no pronounced reason as to why. Frustration and anger over little stuff. All right. Is your kid getting frustrated or angry over small things? That is an indicator that maybe you might need one of the Yellowbird ambassadors to step in and, help evaluate that situation. Again, feeling hopeless or empty, and kids can communicate that and saying they don't want to be here no more, or they feel like they're a problem, or they feel like nothing will ever get better. Just statements that sound like that is an indicator that we might want to get a therapist involved. Easily irritated or annoyed at things. All right, which could be developmental, but we do want to just be sure that that's something that we keep an eye on. So are you noticing your child getting irritable or annoyed easily? Loss of interest or pleasure in doing things that they enjoy. That's something that we want to be aware of as well. Loss of interest or conflict with friends and family. Are they fighting with their friends a lot? Are they fighting with their siblings more than a bearable amount? Are they in conflict with their parents more than a bearable amount? We want to get that checked out. All right, what y'all saying? I'm trying to make sure I don't leave you. I think a lot of people can benefit from therapy, but wouldn't agree but wouldn't agree that everyone needs a therapist. Healthy friendships can really meet therapeutic needs for people too, my opinion anyway. So so yes, a support system is definitely very therapeutic. However, your support system has skin in the game. Your support system has emotional biases, okay? Because they are personally involved with you. So while there is definitely space for having a support system, there is a definite difference between offloading and processing struggles that you're experiencing in life or past struggles that you've had with a professional that can help you structure healing in a non-biased way, than offloading on friends and family who may also be going through their own stuff too, or not even going through their own stuff, maybe imposing onto you what would work best for them. And while they mean well, they are not meant to be your therapist. We don't ever want to make our family or friends responsible for our therapeutic needs. Just our regular, social supports that we need. Yeah, if you need a shoulder to cry on, nothing wrong with going to a friend. If you are, want to blow off some steam about something that happened, sure, you need that. You need friends and family to support you. But sometimes just having that structured therapeutic support makes a world of difference for somebody who doesn't have any skin in the game, and this is a one-sided relationship, okay? So like the therapist not supposed to be telling you what's going on with them and offloading on you. We are supposed to use self-disclosure very sparingly, okay? And only when it's clinically beneficial for our clients, okay? So, there definitely is space for support, but sometimes we do need that extra professional hand. All right. So that's a good point. Can you get better after therapy and only need counseling at some point? Yep. I have a lot of clients that have gone from therapy to counseling. Lots. In fact, that would be the ideal progression if possible, okay? To go from therapy to counseling. So yes, that's a great question. Thank you for asking. I guess I'll reach out to set up a session, then do a group session with my daughter. It's hard communicating with the teenage girl. Oh yeah. I remember being a teenage girl once, and boy, I would not go back for all the money in the world. I am so glad to be through that stage because, I couldn't deal with myself. Couldn't imagine what that was. Well, more so for my dad because my mom was off doing her own thing. But for my dad, boy, jeez. What a beautiful move as a mother. You're a rock star. Yeah, she's probably talking to Ray. Yes, I agree that that can also be the case. Not saying that family should be the therapist. I agree 100 with what you're saying. Great points. Yeah, and that's a very common point of view. Nothing wrong with that point of view at all. But sometimes it can stand in the way or be a barrier to people getting the help that they need. Only leaning on that. And with mental and emotional health, it's not just a one and done thing. You might need therapy, you might need nutritionists, you might need friends and family, you might need all sorts of supports. That's why we offer group therapy too. We offer group therapy in addition to the individual couples and families that people may be getting from us. So yeah, no, it's definitely a holistic approach that needs to be, and that's why we even offer mental health massage therapy, because it's definitely holistic and it's not just therapy. And there are definitely other therapeutic measures that people can take, but to have things structured and guided and maybe somebody giving you resources as to what may work best for you as an individual, it's good to have. And then again, we don't have any skin in the game. We're not personally involved with you, so we're able to look at things more objectively. Yeah, but great point. How do you explain that therapy is good to an absent parent or someone your parents are with? How do you explain that therapy is good? So you could share this live, really. Honestly, you might not be able to address them directly like that. Some people have such a guard or defense up when we talk about getting help, and that's a trauma response that you may have to be subtle with it. Engage them in discussion, and maybe even talk about this live with them. Say, hey, I was watching this live, and these are some of the points that were hit. You may have to come at them from that way, but saying you need to go to therapy right now is probably not going to work. In fact, they may block you, and we don't want that. So just kind of gathering resources and engaging people in discussion about the resources that you find, just in general. You're not really targeting them. You're just sharing the knowledge that you gain. So simply sharing the knowledge that you gain is a good place to start. Cool. Awesome. What y'all got? Questions, comments, concerns? And two, we are doing a whole rebrand, refreshing the our YBC brand, that's also a new name. It used to be formerly known as the Swag Shop, where we have our mental health apparel that we sell. So you can say it with your chest, what you trying to say. All right, and start the discussion in an effort to break the stigma surrounding mental health and mental illness. That is why we have a mental health t-shirt line, so people can simply just put their clothes on and folks say, oh, what is that? What does that mean? And then you can start a discussion and share the benefits of maintaining your mental health, or boundaries, or healthy relationships, or just how therapy has worked for you. So with that, let me go on ahead and put this number up. If you or anybody you know is in need of us, you can simply just text the word new to this number and I will get you set up. That's all you got to do. Just text the word new to this number, or even share it with your friend or family member, and they can text the word new to this number, and we will get them squared away. All right, we'll get them squared away. But yeah, so let's be mindful as our kids are going back to school. And again, I would definitely highly encourage you to look at last week's live, because a lot of kids started school either Monday, Tuesday, or today. So you want to go on ahead and get that self-care, that family self-care regimen in order, and make it a habit this year, so that you and your child can have a successful school year together. All right. You want to have it together. That's what you want. Success together, not apart, together. All right, so Shekinah shared some really great points from a teacher and a school counselor perspective on how to get connected with the school, things to look for, who to connect with, how things to do at home to have a daily self-care routine and not get all caught up in the hustle and bustle of the school year. So, definitely go back to last week's live and watch that and share this live. All right, cool. You did well, very well. Thank you for sharing and doing this. Absolutely. It's my passion. I don't really feel like I have a choice. It's like a burning inside of me to make sure that people are educated about mental health and wellness and emotional health and wellness, and doing that from a person who also deals with depression and anxiety. Not only am I a therapist, but I'm also a client. So I can understand things from both sides of the couch. All right. And thank y'all for coming in here and lighting up this. I love that. I like the engagement. I like to talk to y'all. I like to answer questions. All of it. All of it. I love all of that. All right. So what other questions do y'all have before, if you know, you know. If you're in our text community, or if you get our monthly newsletter, then you know. If you are not in our text community and you do not get our monthly newsletter, you're going to wish you had after I let you know what's about to happen. But before that, I want to make sure that if you have any questions for me or any other things I can assist you with before we get to that, please put them in the comments so that way I can address you. I'm not going to get back because I can't see. All right? I can make it larger, but I can't see. So I'll always be up on the screen like that. Poor eyesight, all right? Not outplay. Love it. Love it, but no. Can't get back from the screen. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to see. I'm going to be like... And sometimes I used to do that. So if that's what kind of therapist you want me to be, I'll ask my clients sometimes, is this the kind of therapist you want me to be? How are you feeling today? Like I can do that and wear earth tones and all that and, be zen and all that. Or you can get who I really am, which is a bit ratchet sometimes. And I'll be, my clients are like, you the kind of therapist I need. You the kind of therapist I need because you really be calling me on my shit and you be making sure that I'm really living my best life. Yeah. All that. Comfortably. All right? All that. I definitely will. And that's cool, because you know what? In-home was my favorite. That was my favorite setting. So if I'm about to join y'all in y'all house, guess what? We in there. What y'all making for dinner? Because I'm hungry. What y'all got? So if taking away the iPad isn't the answer to disciplining a child, what should we do? That is so there is a place for that, but you do want to be strategic. I'm not saying don't do that, but make sure that it is structured. And again, that's something that you would want to talk specifically with the therapist about. Like, what are we hoping to accomplish by taking the iPad? What can the child expect? What can the parent expect? Like, it needs to be structured. If you're going to do negative reinforcement, you want to make sure that it's intentional and strategic. You don't just want to do it for the sake of doing it, because if we're talking about by research standards, negative reinforcement is not quite as effective as some other types of even positive reinforcement. And I'm not talking about corporal punishment. I'm not talking about that, but other types of positive reinforcement. So definitely that would be something that I would, me personally, look more in detail with the client. So I don't want to give you just anything specific, because there could be people take things for different reasons and they're trying to accomplish different goals. So I would definitely say get with the therapist to figure out how to utilize reinforcement with the iPad in a way that's going to be effective for your specific child. So yeah. Let's see. If a child is going to therapy, how can they convince one of their parents to go? So what I do, because me and my kids, we be strategizing. And I'm not saying like my kids that I've had. I'm saying like my kid clients. I call them my kids, okay? Because I do love them. Kids are really where my heart is. I love working with adults. I don't have no problems working with adults. But again, my first passion, my first love lies with working with at-risk youth. So, Use your screen time limitation. Yeah, that's a good one. Use your screen time limitation. That's a great one. That's great. Thank you for that. So sometimes I'll just say, hey, would you like to invite your parent to a session? And I'll let my kids decide if that's something that they want to do, especially if they're over the age of 14, because at 14 and over, your kids are at the age of consent. I literally don't have to tell you not a thing unless they are planning to harm themselves, someone else is being harmed, a child's being harmed, an elder's being harmed. Then those are the only things that I can't keep confidential. But anything else, they're at the age of medical consent at that point. So I don't have to share with you. So I asked them, hey, I encourage them to have their parent come into a session and experience it from like a family therapy perspective. So that the parent, because there's a reason that parent is digging their heels into not wanting to come to therapy. There's where the problem lies. And that child is probably not going to be able to have the means to accomplish the ends of their parent going to therapy. So I'm like, why don't you invite mom, dad into therapy? And I've had several, even adult clients who have done that, who have invited their parents into therapy. Dang, my phone died. That means Instagram. Okay, well, there's that. Have spilled their guts, and I was able to get their parents hooked up with the therapy that they needed. So definitely I would encourage or talk to the kid client or child client about having their parent come to a session. Yeah, that's a good place to start. It's a nice, gentle redirection. Again, you cannot come at people who are already got a barrier up. You can't come at them super duper direct, because that ain't gonna work. You gotta handle them kind of with kid gloves a little bit. So I would say try to bring them to a session. And then sometimes people just don't want help, but I would definitely say start by trying to have them come be involved in a session. Okay. That's good. Y'all have had me on here a while. Any more questions? I'll answer like 2 more. And then if you know, you know. And if you know, then you know. And you like, ooh, I know. So, because you were on our text community and I sent out a text, or you are on our newsletter and you kept up with it, because our newsletter is jam-packed with discounts and prizes and groups and events. And when I have openings, which is really rare, I open 5 slots in July and they filled in less than 24 hours. And I don't open slots a lot. I open maybe 5 slots once a year because I have a waiting list on my own caseload with my own clients who have been seeing me for years. Okay, so that's why I hire other therapists. And I just recently hired 2 more. That I'm super excited about, and I just know they're going to be successful. And y'all are going to love them. And so you're going to get to meet them in September. So I'm excited. You know. But everybody else, they may not know because they don't listen to me when I'm like, you want to go to yellowbirdcounseling.com and subscribe to our newsletter. Let me go on ahead and put that down here. Or you want to text the word new to this number. But thank you. I'm excited because I think these, the people that I hire with Yellowbird are not just ordinary people. They got to have something special about them. So yellowbirdcounseling.com, or again, you can text the word new to that number and we'll get you set up. And then you'll be in the if you know folk. All right. But if you don't know, and you're going to be so bad. All right. So, dang, I hate that my phone died. That's real busted. Super busted. I have this like weird thing where I don't charge my phone. I don't know what that's about. All right, no more questions? No more questions? All right, well, for those of you that know, it's the $100 Cash App giveaway, which whoever wins, I have to get with you because my phone is dead. So I'll just probably have you send me a request so that when my phone turns back on, I can send you. All right, but let's see who it is. Let's see who's involved. So I'm going to start giving the people that know a number. So keep up with your number, okay? If you know, you know. Keep up with your number, okay? Invest in a battery pack. They come in. You know what? There's a lot of things that I need, and a battery pack is probably definitely one of them. Let me grab. You're right, and I probably will. I just was on Amazon ordering a bunch of stuff, so I need to order the stuff I need. Like I'll order if the therapist in the office, if they need something, then definitely I'll jump on that. But I need to jump on getting things I need too. Little conveniences that I need. My phone is like dead. But I'm gonna give y'all a number, okay? And when you get your number, hang on to your number. Because if you miss it, you're gonna miss it. All right, let's see. Let me just enlarge the screen so I don't got to be so damn close. All right. TQ, you are 1. Ray, you are 2. Jaleese, you are 3. Oida, you are 4. Star can be 5. Natasha, you are 6. K Candles, you are 7. Priscilla, you are 8. Rashida, you are 9. Ooh, y'all is jumping. Jumping. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, damn. What number did I leave off on? Tanya, you are 9. Mookie Forever. Okay, you are 10. And don't talk about my dead phone. I gave 2 people 9. Oh, now I gotta start over. Dang it. All right, y'all, I tried to keep count and then I started reading the comments. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. All right, it's gonna be the same numbers. I'm not gonna change anything. I just want to count over. So thank y'all for helping me. All right, TQ, you are 1. Ray, you are 2. Jaleese, you are 3. All right, 3. Odwita, you are 4. Star, you are 5. Natasha, you are 6. Okay, Candles, you are 7. Priscilla, you are 8. Rashida, you are 9. Counting on my fingers. We're at 9, so the next person is 10. That was the one that had a duplicate number. Tanya, you are 10. Mookie Forever, you are 11. Okay. All right, I think that's better. All right, cool. All right, so y'all know what the deal is. Y'all know what the deal is. We about to pull this wheel up. And you know I'm about to share my screen because I don't ever want to be accused of capping. Don't never want to be accused of capping. So let me share my screen. And while I'm doing that, feel free to text the word new to the number below. So next time you can know and get our $100 cash out giveaway. All right. So let me see. Share screen. All right. So here we go. I'm starting from scratch. Y'all know I start from scratch because I don't want nobody to say I was playing favorites or capping or none of that. All right. So let's see. Number. I like to put in the number generator wheel because it's my favorite. It's my favorite. All right. And we're going to put in. All right. So the minimum is 1. The maximum is 11. Wow. Maybe that was what it was last time too. Okay. All right. So y'all know we're going to spin this wheel and you got to be present to win. So let's spin it and see what happens. What? Y'all give them hearts and thumbs up and congratulations in the comments. Number 1. Number 1. Let's see. And number 1, you got to confirm with us that you're here. Because if you're not here, we gotta spin again. Yeah, I love it. Absolutely. Who got it? Who is number 1? Yay, TQ Hallmark. Yes. So TQ. So since my phone is dead, here's what you need to do. You need to request from me $100 via the Cash App. Let me give you the Yellowbird Counseling Cash App. It's just Yellowbird Counseling, but I'm putting it right up under you. Here I go. Uh-oh. Congratulations. I usually do it on the live and send the money right then, but, well, my phone is dead. Still dead. So if you request, then as soon as my phone turns back on, then I will just click the pay button and send it to you. But congratulations! You are so welcome. Now you got your weekend fun money, and if you get paid, you don't gotta dip in your paycheck, and that is the best thing about free money. I love it. All right. Shoot, because if somebody just rolled up on me and gave me $100 cash, I'd be like, yeah. I'd give me an outfit and everything. And I had my first appointment with Jennifer today. Yay! Look at that! You was just getting all the Yellowbird love all in one day. Getting all the Yellowbird love all in one day. Love it. I love it. Love it. Yay. Cool. Awesome. Awesome. Well, congratulations. And guys, again, join us next week. If I'm ever running late because of a session, like my last 2 sessions were EMDR sessions, which I will talk to y'all about EMDR next month because I want to focus on trauma in conjunction with introducing our 2 new therapists. So I will explain, but they run over sometimes, and I can't leave people in that state. So if I'm ever late, I'll be on by 8:30. But I'm always supposed to be here at every Thursday. Unless it's not on the calendar, which you'll know what Thursdays we won't be on here if you're on the newsletter. But in the newsletter, it tells exactly which Thursdays we're going to be doing the giveaways as well. And then I also text the text community and be like, hey, you want to get a $100 Cash App? Come to the live, and this is what you got to do. And they do it, and then they can win. All right. So definitely you want to go to yellowbirdcounseling.com, get connected with the newsletter. You also want to text the word new below so you can be in the text community as well. And what else? But yeah, I will be back next week to talk about another installment. Let's see, what will I be talking about next week? So, next week we're off. That's why I don't know. Because I'm going to be off. I won't be here. But we will be back on the 25th to close the month down strong. And then in September, again, we're going to be addressing trauma and introducing our new therapist. So thank y'all so much again. Please keep yourselves hydrated, get your rest, make sure you're eating the appropriate amounts of fruits and vegetables. And I'll see y'all on the 25th at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is 9 p.m. Eastern, which is 6 p.m. Pacific.